Y'all know that I don't know damn near anything about astrology, okay? It's not my thing. I know that I'm a Gemini, okay? And I know that my husband's also a Gemini, and I know that every time I mention to people like, oh yeah, my husband and I are both Geminis, because for whatever reason, astrology is just a regular part of conversations now, people will be like, oh my God, how does that work? How does that work out? Like, I don't know. He kisses my face, fine. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that my best friend is a Pisces, okay? And apparently Gemini and Pisces is not a normal pairing because people are also very confounded by that. But I just honestly don't know what to tell you guys. Me and astrology, like, we move in the same circles because I like astrology girlies. I just don't like astrology, you know? We very distantly know of each other. You feel me? Y'all feel me. You guys get it. What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. Today we are here for some more overly sarcastic productions. You guys know this is one of my favorite channels, one of my favorite channels, and today's video is a Fables and Folktales video, which means, you know, it's my girl, my woman crush everyday, Red. The title of this one is called The Great Zodiac Race. I don't have a horse in said race, but I hope the horse that wins is a Gemini. I was going somewhere when I started that sentence and I completely forgot where I was going afterwards. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. I'm really excited to see what this video has in store for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
I love how many calendars we have access to now.
Bro,
you know, like
everywhere.
A calendar is a ridiculously useful tool for any given society to have. Lets you keep track of all sorts of important things, like birthdays and eclipses and your many long years plotting vengeance in the Chateau d'If. But now that we've had all this cross-cultural contact, everyone's been comparing notes, and we've got tons of calendars rattling around, and layers of significance stacked on every day of the year. For instance, back in the tail end of January, you might have heard we were going into the Year of the Dragon, and thought, like any sensible person, holy shit, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. This is according to the calendar of the Chinese Zodiac, a 12-year cycle where every year is associated with an animal. Among other things, the year you're born in has a zodiac animal associated and a whole suite of extra meanings attached. Now, as a card-carrying astrology disliker, it may come as a surprise that I'm actually very fond of the idea of assigning meaning and context to specific dates and times.
I really vibe with that because I don't dislike astrology. I just dislike, first of all, that astrology has become like a business. That's crazy to me. But I hate when people are like, oh, they were like this, but it makes sense because they're a Leo. Like, oh, well, I was like this, but that makes sense because I'm a Cancer. Like, girl, no. They're like that because they're a loser, and you're like that because you need therapy. It has nothing to do with the stars in the sky. I promise.
Especially when I was a kid, I got a huge kick out of learning new and exciting stuff about my birthday, like what semi-precious stone it meant I was associated with, or what classical element I had an affinity to. But by far my favorite was when I first heard the story we're going to talk about today. See, there's a pretty widespread folktale explaining why the animals of the Chinese zodiac are in the order that they're in, and therefore why specific years have specific animals associated with them. And that's when I learned that I'm a year of the rat kid. You try telling a kindergartner that their magical, super cool zodiac animal is a rat and see what face they make. Some people have tigers or dragons, and I got a rat.
I would low-key be really upset. Wait, let me look it up. Let me look up.
A few moments later.
A pig? What the? My year is a pig. I don't know what's worse, a rat or a pig. I didn't know pig was an option. Okay, is it like a pig or is it like a boar? Okay.
This displeased my baby sense of aesthetics. Not only was my animal the smallest of the bunch, it was categorically the lamest. Didn't even have good heel qualities like the snake. But my ears were perked when I was informed that actually, the rat is the very first animal in the zodiac cycle, because the animals all had a great race, and the rat 1. That brightened me up very quickly. Maybe it was okay being a year of the rat kid, if it meant being a born winner. This is around the time I realized that because of the way school works, almost everyone else in my kindergarten classroom was also a year of the rat kid, so my bragging rights for that dried up pretty quickly. But anyway, let's talk about the Great Race. Now, as an incredibly widespread folktale, the Great Race does not have a singular source that I can just pull off the shelf and summarize as a definitive version. The ordering of the animals is always the same, obviously, but there are a lot of different variations on the exact details of the story, so today we're going to talk about one of them with the understanding that there are a ton of them and we're all going to be cool about it.
Is this one of those things where, like, because it came from, like, oral traditions and, like, different regions had their own oral tradition of this tale? Is that why? I'm just curious.
Okay. Alright, now our story begins, as so many do, with a decree from the Jade Emperor. See, he's decided he wants some new heavenly spirits around to guard the years of the calendar, and the earlier the prospective hires show up, the better their rank will be. News of this impromptu race spreads, and a multitude of animals start making their way to the Jade Emperor's heavenly palace. But this isn't just a simple overland sprint. The way is barred by a swift river, probably because all the mountains were busy making journey to the west more complicated, so the animals need to find a way to ford the rushing waters.
You must be swift as a coursing river. Okay, sorry.
The rat and the cat are by far the worst swimmers of the bunch, and they know it, so the night before the race they put their heads together and come up with a scheme to hitch a ride with one of the other animals. The rat promises to wake the cat first thing in the morning, and they bunker down for a good night's sleep. But either because it slipped the rat's mind, or because the rat didn't want to deal with the competition, the rat slips away in the morning with the cat napping peacefully and none the wiser. Personally, I feel like the rat is entirely blameless in this situation.
Like a one-night stand where you sneak out the next morning. Do the walk of shame. But I bet you he wasn't ashamed, little rat.
Cat should have set an alarm. The race begins and the animals plunge into the water. First on the ticket is the ox, who's sturdy enough to just kind of brute force it. He pushes his way through and makes his way to the other side. But it turns out the ox had a hitchhiker. The noble and extremely charismatic rat was hanging out just behind his ear, and when the ox makes landfall on the other side of the river, the rat leaps off and sprints to the finish line, taking home the gold with the ox in a comfortable second place. Bringing up third is the tiger, who had a very unpleasant time fighting the current, but was just badass enough to make it to the other side through sheer strength alone. And hot on the tiger's heels is the rabbit, who was making good time hopping from rock to rock, but had a bit of a spill and barely survived by clinging to a log until it reached the other shore. In inexplicable fifth place is the divine dragon, who can fly, so what's his excuse? It's actually pretty good. He got delayed because he was granting life-giving rain to the people of Earth who needed it, and then at the last minute he got held up again because he happened to see this rabbit drowning and gave it a little bit of a rescue.
Okay, alright, that is acceptable. That's okay, because I was wondering where the dragon was at, because I know there is a dragon. I kind of thought he was just going to be like, I show up when I show up, but he has good reasons.
Do-gooding are as good a reason as any to turn up late, and the dragon gets 5th place. This is around the time the horse makes it through the water, but just before he can reach the shore, he has a moment of clarity and realizes he didn't somehow acquire a fashionable new ankle bracelet, and instead has a snake on his leg. And this freaks him out so much that the snake flies merrily into 6th place, and the horse has to be happy with 7th. Things get a smidge complicated with the next few runners. Apparently, the goat, the monkey, and the rooster had some sort of power of friendship moment and decided to work together, finding and steering a raft across the river and not betraying each other even a little bit. The Jade Emperor is pleasantly surprised and gives the goat 8th place, the monkey 9th, and the rooster 10th. Yeah, that's right, rooster. That's what teamwork gets you. 11th place is taken by the dog, who, despite being a dang good swimmer, is also a dog who got turned loose in a water park, so he ran a little late. And
that nigga said squirrel, rabbit, dragon. He was very distracted. Also, I said squirrel just now as a reference to Up, but like the rat was right there. Snake was right there. I could have said anything. Whatever.
Finally, bringing up the rear is the boar, who made it a self-care day.
Oh, okay, it is a boar.
Big breakfast, having a nice nap, and really just taking the day at his own pace. And you know what? It worked.
Okay, it's a boar, not just a pig. Okay, I feel better now. I'm happier.
Take that, grind set. With the menagerie assembled and the ordering solidly established, the 12 Zodiac animals are placed in their permanent position, and the rat gets to enjoy that sweet gold place victory forever. Which I'm sure was tempered only slightly by the cat's vow of eternal blood feud vengeance for being sabotaged into sleeping through the whole race. Incidentally, providing a handy explanation for why there is no cat in the Chinese Zodiac, and further, why cats of all stripes have such a fondness for disemboweling their little furry former friends. Which sounds like sore loser behavior to me. Or maybe the cat chases the rat because they're just so used to the view from last place place.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. Who said that? When
Damn.
the years start coming and they don't stop.
For somebody who doesn't like astrology, you leaning in real hard to this year of the rat thing. And I would just like to say, as a year of the boar person, me and you got eternal beef also. Hashtag rat gang represent. If you think my astrology opinions are contradictory and hypocritical, just remember I'm a Gemini. Me too! Hi, queen. Just 2 Gemini queens. No biggie.
Coming, fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go.
You'll never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're a rock star. I don't know the rest of the words. I hope you guys enjoyed that because I actually had a great time. I had a fantastic time. Obviously, we couldn't get as many details as we would normally like from our girl Red, but I feel like she did a fantastic job breaking everything down for us. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, ho biscuits. It's Skittin' Lit.